Sometimes, life changes in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes, a single mistake, a single tap on a phone screen, can shift two people's lives forever. This is the story of how a worn-out single dad, exhausted from long shifts and quiet heartbreak, accidentally texted his cold, intimidating CEO, only to find her standing at his door minutes later with an expression he never thought he'd see. He didn't know it then, but this small accident would open the door to a lesson far deeper than embarrassment or fear. It would show him what kindness truly looks like when it comes from the most unexpected person. Before we get into the story, make sure you subscribe to Kindness Diaries, where we share real, emotional stories that remind the world that compassion still exists. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us spread more kindness every day. Now, let's begin. Ethan Reed was a quiet man, 32, tired, and doing everything he could to raise his 6-year-old son, Noah, on his own. After his wife passed away 3 years earlier, Ethan's world became a balancing act of daycare pickups, late bills, and double shifts at Stanton Innovations, a tech firm run by a woman whose presence could freeze a room. Her name was Victoria Hale, his CEO. Smart, sharp-tongued, always dressed in perfect lines and impossible confidence. People joked that she didn't smile, others whispered that she didn't have a heart. Ethan never believed the harsh rumors, but he also never had a reason to think otherwise. She barely looked at employees, let alone talk to them. Until the night everything changed. It was a Wednesday evening, long after sunset. Ethan had just put Noah to bed. The little boy had been sick all week with a stubborn flu, and Ethan felt guilty for leaving work early every day. His body was heavy as he sank onto the couch, phone in hand. His best friend Jake had texted earlier, "You need to lighten up, man. Send someone a flirty message. You deserve a break." Ethan chuckled. "Yeah, right," he muttered to himself. He typed something playful, half joke, half tired nonsense, intended for Jake. "If you smile at me like that again, I might actually fall for you." He hit send. A second later, his heart dropped. The name on the screen didn't say Jake. It said Victoria Hale, his CEO, his cold CEO, the woman who barely acknowledged his existence. He froze, staring at the phone as if it might explode. His mind panicked. His face burned. He immediately typed an apology, but every sentence sounded worse than the last. His fingers hovered helplessly. Then, 3 dots appeared. She was typing. He felt sick, but the message never came. The dots vanished. Nothing for 5 minutes. Ethan sat trembling on the couch, imagining every horrible outcome: termination, humiliation, HR meetings. He thought about his son asleep upstairs. "Please don't let me lose this job," he whispered. Then a knock at the door, not loud, but firm. Ethan's stomach twisted. No way. He walked toward the door with shaky hands. When he opened it, he almost forgot how to breathe. There she was, Victoria. Dressed not in her usual corporate armor, but in a simple red dress, hair soft around her face, eyes wide, not cold, but troubled. Confused. "Human Mr. Reed," she said, breathless, "we need to talk." Ethan felt his heart stop. "Miss Hale, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean, it was a mistake." "No," she said gently. "That's why I'm here." The gentleness in her voice stunned him. She glanced past him at the warm lights inside, her expression softening. "Can I come in?" He hesitated, but stepped back to let her enter. Victoria walked in slowly, looking around as though entering another world. A real, lived-in home. A child's shoes by the door. A blanket on the couch. A family picture on the wall. Something in her eyes flickered. "You don't have to be afraid," she said quietly. "I didn't come here to fire you." Ethan exhaled, nearly collapsing with relief. "Thank you," he whispered. "No, thank you," she said, turning toward him. "That message, you didn't mean to send it, but it made me realize something." He frowned. "Realize what?" Victoria didn't speak for a few moments. Instead, she walked to the family photo, the one where Ethan held Noah at a pumpkin patch, both covered in orange paint and smiling like the world still had magic. "You care deeply," she said. "Anyone can see that. But when I saw this warmth directed at me, even by accident, it made me realize I've forgotten what kindness feels like." Ethan didn't know what to say. Victoria's voice wavered. "People think I'm cold because I want power or control. But the truth is, after losing my father, after getting betrayed by people I trusted, I built walls so high that I forgot how to come down from them." She took a breath, trying to steady herself. "But your message, this silly, accidental, flirty message, reminded me that I'm still human. And maybe I don't have to live behind those walls forever." Ethan had never seen her like this. Raw. Honest. Vulnerable. He stepped closer. Ms. Hail, Victoria, kindness isn't something you lose, sometimes it just gets buried. She looked up at him, her eyes soft but searching. Do you really believe that? He said, people heal, even the strongest ones. There was a quiet moment between them, warm, fragile, real. Then a small cough came from the hallway. Noah, rubbing his sleepy eyes, appeared holding his stuffed dinosaur. Daddy, who's that? Victoria's face melted instantly. Hi, sweetheart, she whispered. Ethan introduced them, and Noah, in the pure honesty only a child has, said, she looks like a princess. For the first time since Ethan met her, Victoria actually smiled, not a tight, polite smile. A real one. She knelt down. And you look like a brave knight. Noah giggled. That night, Victoria stayed for tea. She listened to Noah talk about dinosaurs and bedtime snacks. She watched Ethan gently tuck his son back into bed. And for the first time in years, she felt the warmth of a real home. When she finally stood to leave, she said something Ethan would never forget. Thank you for letting me in tonight. Not just into your home, but into a part of life I thought I'd lost forever. Ethan nodded. Sometimes kindness shows up by accidentally, sometimes it knocks on the door. Victoria paused at the doorway and whispered, and sometimes we answer. In the days that followed, Victoria wasn't just a CEO anymore. She became someone who made eye contact, someone who said thank you, someone who remembered birthdays, someone who helped employees who were struggling. Because one mistaken text opened her heart again, and Ethan learned that even the coldest walls can break, not with force, but with kindness. This story reminds us that compassion can come from the most unexpected places, and sometimes, it takes one small moment to change a life. If you want more stories like this, filled with warmth and humanity, make sure to join us here on Kindness Diaries. Spread kindness. You never know whose heart you'll touch next.